January 1986, coup d'etat in Kampala. Museveni seizes power. In the north of the country, rebellion is growing and takes to arms. It is the start of a civil war between government forces and the rebels of Joseph Kony Lord's resistance army that will last for more than 20 years. A devastating toll on human lives, 100,000 civilians killed, 1.5 million displaced persons crammed into camps, 25,000 children coerced into joining the LRA ranks. 8 years after the end of hostilities, the horrors of war are still indelibly engraved in the common memory.
Karmati kam, kwama no tek, ene nek magi berga nek dano, adwi donyo nek dano, ma angi nek la mera, dati pa la mera, iwan wiye ot.
When you try to escape, you are shot by gun, and others, people who try to escape, have abducted and cut them with the panga and picked them through in the fire because all over the camp were put on fire. Me, myself, I lost my dear children and my brother, 3 of them. That is the loved one.
My daughter of 10 years was abducted. My brother, who was a teacher in a secondary school, was also abducted. People are still calling me the father of the rebel because I'm still missing my people.
Kayen ki mare ki tere ki la wër mo karane famila jel ki mara wareo. Dogang ma chachak ki o kono ki mi ngara man yo gwang ngara on temo lui. Chi ki mi ni ne ko rombe di yen be ki di ne ko la wëre. Era ka dong I dugu gang wacha ne ki la nyor pa ngara ni ana ya ne ko ngadi.
Eka enameo umahamaha umegi na ke nameo maho wanu umahwa wanangwe eka ngarkielung tebunne ko koy kunu yokeni po duogo ena na duogo ana tikena ame monu beru bino tek ame mu tuye ko ame kai apoye yunga chen miu wi beberu ticha ber pale chamo.
How to move on from these crimes and atrocities? How can the expectations of victims seeking truth and compensation be met? In Uganda, these questions are still being fiercely debated. In 2008, 3 years after 5 arrest warrants were issued by the International Crime Court in The Hague, the Ugandan government created the International Crime Division. Its mandate was clear: to prosecute those guilty of international crimes, but this time to do it in Uganda. Would this put an end to impunity and bring justice and accountability? The creation of the crime division raised many hopes soon to be dashed. Why? Because of an amnesty law voted in 2000 which has since pardoned some 26,000 combatants, including those responsible for the most serious crimes.
There are those who committed serious crimes which deserve to give accountability. But now the amnesty law has not segregated anybody. The amnesty was made blanket without minding about the serious nature of crimes. So in a way, amnesty is seen as a way of blocking or denying victims who need justice.
What I think about these people who did these atrocities, the government should take these people to the court of Uganda because we want them to say, we are the people who did this.
They participated highly to abduct our relatives forcefully. So there's no way for them to be given amnesty. If they are to be prosecuted, they will not repeat it again.
An amnesty ni me wacha la daba pa mero. Gamanda me Uganda ene no miero gene go kwa kija barwa machale wan joma ke magawa.
The law is saying those who have been given amnesties because they were fighting against the government. So which means it was like treason. So that particular group feels that it means they are being betrayed for good because they have entered into that system of government describing them that as rebel per se, flat. So yet they feel they are children. They were abducted. They are also victims.
There are gaps in amnesties, there are gaps in reconciliation, there are gaps in the various mechanisms. For instance, if you look at the amnesty, if a person comes back from captivity and is reintegrated into the community, but there's no element of truth-telling, you'll find that forgiveness cannot happen. And that's why, if you went to villages, you find some people are still bitter. In Acholi, we have what we call mato or put. Or put is kind of a bitter herbs, where the two warring parties come together, they reconcile, they accept the truth, they tell what happened, and then they drink this bitter herbs. And this bitter herb is believed to take away the bitterness. Once it's done, the people have to believe in it, they trust it because it's their tradition. So we see the traditional aspect complementing the work of amnesty in application at the grassroots level. We saw a few reconciliation processes conducted, but that's like a drop in the sea because people who came back from captivity are in thousands.
14 years of amnesty, during which Uganda has clearly given priority to a return of peace and stability, a priority supported by some of the population. 14 years of impunity too, for the perpetrators of war crimes and crimes against humanity within the LRA and government forces. And as many years of waiting for the victims who still suffer both physically and psychologically from the effects of these crimes. There is a ray of hope, however. A policy for transitional justice is under discussion. It would establish conditional amnesty, legal proceedings for the most serious cases, compensation for victims, truth and reconciliation. An ambitious and comprehensive arsenal. Has the time finally come to break the cycle of violence and impunity in Uganda?
In the case of Uganda, it cannot be overemphasized that it is the appropriate timing for justice. The guns have been silent for a number of years now. Those who are living in internally displaced camps have gone back to their respective homes, and increasingly, many of them are demanding for justice.
The person who come and tell me I'm the one who killed your son, I would forgive him.
If the government also to put in place that we fail to manage to cater for you by the time you were in the camp, that we can feel comfortable.
The way amnesty was discussed, the law developed, it left out victim completely.
Absolutely, to have complete amnesties. Okay, there's amnesty, so let's go and do what we want.
We create a cycle of impunity. What message are we sending to society?
When the process of the justice is going, also the process of compensation would be in place. That is what we want.
You cannot have peace without justice. It will not be sustainable.